What's going on, guys? This is Miasin, and welcome to my Exosister deck profile. I absolutely love this deck. This deck is really based, and you got yourself, the best waifus in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not that I really care, but if you actually like to destroy people with nuns or something, then this deck is definitely the deck for you. And you're also winning with a lot of style points because while people were playing like Tier Elements and Sprite back in the days, Raymond Dai was being a Chad and playing the Sisters deck in order to destroy people left and right, and won a YCS with it. And Steven Stantoli did it again with Exosister during like Dragon Link Kashtira format that was just all over the place. But yeah, this just proves that this deck is still a deck that you have to take into consideration every single format because it's probably here to stay. It's never gonna get a hit. Konami has better things to do than, try to ban a deck that almost nobody plays, but when it is being played, it's being pretty good. Anyways, before this video starts, you already know the drill. Friendly reminder to smash the like and subscribe button, and now let's get right into it. Alright, so for the hand traps, I'm playing 3 Shifter, 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, so that's all you really need. There's no reason to play like Valor or Droll. They also conflict with Shifter. Ghost Mourner would not conflict with Shifter, but it's also kind of just not really good in the TCG at the very least. In the OCG, it's much better. I keep saying that, but it's unfortunately true. You don't, like I said, don't really need anything else, but I also have more utility cards, such as Gozen Match, which actually has a lot of really nice interactions with this deck, because, well, first of all, everything is light attributes, so really don't care, outside of Aratama, but it is what it is. But another thing about Gozen Match is that you can use it going second, turn 1, well, I mean, turn 2, with Temple of the Kings, which is the spiciest card in this deck. So, speaking of which, I'm playing 2 Temple of the Kings, which is a card that it enables you to get your engine going when you have Vadis. And again, you can use other trap cards with Temple of the Kings to break boards. So for example, you can use Returnia in order to banish some big boss monsters that would be annoying interruptions for you. Or you can use Infinite Impermanence in the most spicy of ways, because you can negate spells and traps going second, which is something that people can typically not do. You only use it as like an actual like Forbidden Chalice, but nothing else. But yeah, being able to like negate floodgates and stuff like that when you're sending the card and then flipping it right away is really appreciated. But the main utility for Temple of the Kings is Vadis, but sometimes you can also use it for Gozen Match, which is honestly not too bad. Anyways, for the actual Exosister monsters, 3 Martha, 3 Elise, as well as 2 Stella, because it does take up your normal summon, and your normal summon is typically on Aratama. Aratama gets you the Sakitama, which then normal summons itself. And just like that, it's a 1-card rank 4. The rank 4 that you're going to be making is Caspatel. That searches Martha, summons the Elise, and then you make the Michaelis, search a trap card, then you have Magnifica. Very, very simple, bread and butter, 1-card combo equals Magnifica and a trap card. But yeah, also 2 Sophia as well as 1 Iran. This card is the worst card. It's actually way worse than Sophia. Sophia always draws you 1 card. If you control any other Exosister monster, Iran, you don't necessarily have to control an Exosister monster to use its draw effect, but after you draw, you do have to put back 1 card from the hand into the bottom of the deck or something. So that's not the... Actually, no, it's the other way around. You start by placing an Exosister card from the hand on the bottom and then draw 1 card. It's even worse, actually. So yeah, definitely no reason to play any more than 1. These ratios, I want to say, are perfect for the most part. So yeah, 22 monsters wouldn't really change anything. If anything, you can argue that the only cards that might want to be changed or bumped up or, reduced would be the hand traps as well as Sakitama. Maybe there might be a world in which you might want to play 3 Sakitama, or like, I don't know, 2 Shifter, 1 Shifter, 0 Shifters. It's up to you, but while the card is good, I'd rather play 3. It is dead against Kashtira though. You also cannot really afford to play cards like Kaijus or Kurikara. They conflict, same thing with Bestials, because then you either have monsters on your field or you summon non-Exosister monsters, or rather special summons, so that the Martha cannot be summoned. And that's the reason why the Spirit monsters are so good, because you're only doing a lot of normal summons and not a lot of special summons. You're never screwing yourself with the luck, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, for the spell cards, 3 Prosperity, again, another really good consistency card. A lot of cards that are really easy to banish, because most of them are only used when you are getting hit by floodgates. So, for example, Excite on Night when you're locked under Light Only, but, like, let's say you're under, I don't know, like, there can only be 1 or something, or, yeah, not Rivalry, obviously, but, yeah, in this situation, well, Rivalry can still kind of out it with 2 Aratama, but it's not really good. You would need, like, Sakitama with Aratama, and you also cannot search itself, so that's really bait. But, yeah, there can only be 1 is a little easier to out, and then you've got the Donner and Sky Striker as Aaliyah. So a lot of cards that are really easy to banish with their Prosperity. 3 packs, of course, and everything else is already explained. So yeah, 40 card deck. You cannot play any more than that, it wouldn't work. The extra deck, most cards, again, are not, you know, super complicated because for the most part, you're always going to be summoning the exact same monsters every single duel. 3 Caspatel, 3 Michaelis, and then 2 Magnifica. The rest is just filler. But Zeus obviously comes up every now and then. If you Zeus, though, it's because it's like your follow-up, or you have like literally nothing and you can't go into a Martha. Because again, that locks you, so you also cannot summon like non-Exorcisters from the extra deck. It's like the turn you activate Martha. Like, you also can't do anything before, so that's really annoying with the card. And that's the reason why we don't really see a lot of toolboxy cards in Exorcister deck, extra decks usually. But yeah, 2 Magnifica, you don't need 3 because you're only really going to be summoning like 1. But yeah, the second one can come up, especially if you're getting hit by a new unicorn or something. And you really need like 3 copies of these cards because if you only play like 1 or 2 and you get it banished, then your deck is going to be infinitely worse. And then I'm playing one Asophiel, which is a Abyss Dweller. The Caspatel is a Sanaphon, so neither player can special summon from the graveyard. This is technically a Dweller for both players, but you don't even have a single graveyard effect, so it really doesn't matter. I guess the only graveyard effect is Sakitama when you're getting like Nibiru, but it's never gonna happen. Or I guess when you're tribute summoning on top of Sakitama. But yeah, and then finally we've got, like I said, the other monsters, 1 Gibrine, etc. So yeah, 15 cards in the extra deck, obviously, and for the idea section, because it's not really like I've got a side deck for you, but kind of, actually. So 1 Zoroa, if you really want to play the Magistus package. The really cool thing about Zoroa is that you always have a follow for next turn, because Zoroa can get you the Artemis, so that you can search another Zoroa, or you can get yourself the Ninaru, and that's pretty much like an Archphoenix Centric, so you're going to be able to destroy a spell or trap card your opponent controls, which is, yet again, another out to annoying Floodgates. So that's not too bad. Jolin Logbird, if you want to swap it for Shifter, because you can't really play both simultaneously. Darkhole, the best going second board breaker, because it also takes care of Ibli. Or if your opponent gives you like any other monster, that would also cog block the Martha, unfortunately. Cosmic Cyclone, if you want to get rid of Floodgates or any other kind of trap cards and not really care too much about Lord of the Heavenly Prison, because Duster and Lightning Storm unfortunately do not deal with that one. Exorcister Carpe Diem, that is like the only way pretty much to play around Nibiru if you want to go for the full board, or else you can just search a bunch of trap cards and not overcommit and not lose to Nibiru. That's like the only other way to like truly play around Nibiru, but yeah, this card allows you to be greedy, basically. Essentially, this card is kind of like a prohibition. Whenever you Exceed summon an Exorcister monster, you can declare 1 card name, and then you negate like everything with that card name until the end of this turn. That can also be relevant on your opponent's turn, because you can also Exceed summon with the Magnifica's effect or Returnia's effect, but that's never going to come up. Or like when you're going Pax or Vadis and then summon a bunch of monsters when your opponent interacts with a grave, then you're transforming all of your monsters, and you can call some monsters that would try to like activate their effects later on. So this card can be an interruption on your opponent's turn on top of something that can stop the Nibiru. And whenever an attack is declared involving your Exorcister monsters, you can destroy 1 spell or trap card on your opponent's field. So that's in searchable out to Floodgates post game 1. You can go Pax, Surge, discard. You can also dig for it with Prosperity, and 1 copy is all you need, and you're going to be able to at least have a fighting chance against skill drain and stuff like that when you're going second, because otherwise it's going to be really rough. So you are absolutely forced to side 1 copy of this card, at least for the MST effect. And the Prohibition effect is honestly not even that relevant. And it also has like a protection effect from, you know, monsters that were special summoned from the grave. They can't target your Exorcister monsters with card effects, but that's really irrelevant. Now, this deck can also play really nasty Floodgates. Either Zombie World or Necro Valley, both are absolutely insane, because this deck, again, doesn't really care too much about the graveyard. But Necro Valley is a little counterproductive, because you pretty much want your opponent to interact with the grave so that you can punish them and trigger all your effects. So Necro Valley would just prevent that altogether, and your monsters are pretty much just Xyz materials to make some big boys, or rather some big grills. And finally, a 3rd copy of Vadis. You can play a 3rd if you want to. Anti-Spell, because this deck does lose the Regeki and stuff like that. Not Lightning Storm though, because Magnifica should always be in defense, and Solemn Judgment or whatever else you want, if you want to protect your goals in match, actually, because this card is an auto win against a lot of decks, including, I don't know, like even Kashtira, honestly, and Despia, and almost everything in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.